from person, which is a much more contracted state, to the more refined and more universal state of presence. So I said it's like a bridge, and we must cross quickly this bridge. If you spend too much time on the bridge, going to and fro, the bridge keeps getting longer and longer. So cross this bridge quickly means what? Don't indulge the tendencies of the mind, doubting. Just move in the space of isness, and quickly or go across. So Marina from Croatia is writing, I do not know what stage I am, but I'm afraid of the bridge from person to presence. My dear Master, I know that your grace is always with me. Please get rid of arrogance and pride. Love you, bow at your feet. Sorry for my English. Marina from Croatia. So just at the beginning, Marina says, I am at your feet, please explain. Is it normal or what is happening? For example, 2 or 3 days, I am aware of awareness. I'm aware of my awareness. I am aware of my isness. Same thing. Okay? It is so natural. It is just here. And I know that I do not have to do anything to be. In the background is a subtle vibration. In the background of isness, let's just listen like that. In the background is a subtle vibration. In front is the person. I see both. I am none of them. From the place of the isness, background, foreground, they are just movements. She says, I see both of them. I see what is in the background, I see what's in the foreground, which is the person. I am none of these. Okay? Then, for 2 or 3 days, I do not remember even to check in. What is this forgetting? For 2 or 3 days, I forget that I'm aware of awareness. I forget I'm the awareness itself. Let's stop for a second. Who forgets I am the awareness itself? Can this one be found? The one who remembers or forgets they are the awareness. Is it the isness? Has the isness ever forgotten itself, or does it even need to remember itself? Is it possible for us to answer this kind of question? So who is having this experience of forgetting, for 2 or 3 days? We understand what it means, no? For 2 or 3 days, I didn't check. I didn't check for 2 or 3 days. So where was I for 2 or 3 days? And who is the I? Is it other than isness? Does the sky say to the cloud, you forgot me? Does the sky say to the cloud, why are you not paying attention to me? Why are you forgetting that you're not merely a cloud, you're me? Does the cloud say, oh, I forgot to keep focusing on my isness? Maybe. I do not know at what stage I am, but I'm afraid of the bridge from person to presence. One day, this bridge also will be gone. And the one crossing it will be gone. And the person will be gone. And the presence will be gone. And the water under the bridge will be gone. Is the isness waiting? Thank you. Very good. Very good. It's nothing so much to figure out, It's like you are enjoying spontaneous knowledge. Did you go to university for this knowledge? No. Just to the universe. Hello, namaste. My name is Vinny. I currently reside in San Diego. In your most recent video satsang, I watch a man in your presence become shaken, moaning, vibrating, laughing, and crying all at the same time. Okay, I can't do it, but I know what you mean, no? It looked very weird and almost looked like an exorcism. Okay. I continued to watch and listen with pure, unshakable consciousness. A few moments later, you were explaining to another person about the veil must be lifted to see it is you have been searching for. The veil must be lifted so that you realize it is your own self that you are searching for. I started to cry uncontrollably. It was then that everything was made clear. I started to shake, scream, vibrate, moan uncontrollably. I was experiencing what this man moments before was experiencing. I was scared, and yet at the same time I felt more sure about myself than ever before. Since then, I've felt at times worse, almost as if I'm alone with no one to understand this uniqueness I've experienced. My question is, what was that I experienced? What is happening to me? It seems my mind, in brackets the thinker, is even more powerful now. Please, 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 Mooji, explain. And even help me to stay in truth and detached from the mind. Vinny, you see? Because if experience happen, what was it, how it goes? Shake, scream, vibrate, moan, uncontrollably. If that was happening, and you just let it happen. Suppose you just let it happen. Because you're not even doing it. It's just happening. It's happening like this, and you recognize it's just happening, and I'm not even doing it. Just something was said, and it triggered some reaction, and all this just happening. No problem. No problem. We'll see how things turn out. But what makes the difference is that something starts to say, something is wrong about this. And then doubt comes. When doubt comes, all these other things can come. Look. I was experiencing what this man moments before was experiencing. I was scared, and yet at the same time, I felt more sure about myself than ever before. Is it sure you felt about yourself, or just you were just yourself? Do you have to be sure about yourself, or just sure yourself? You see? Okay. Since then, I have felt at times worse. What, worse than before? What was before bad? That now worse? Okay, almost as if I'm alone with no one to understand this uniqueness I've experienced. And what if nobody understands? Who can understand you? Maybe we interpret. Maybe if we are in a place of silence, we have an affinity with your vibration. You feel fine with it. Your mind is not saying, wow, this guy's freaking out. I hope he doesn't bite my head off or something. You're just kind of okay. You know that there's a space for this. You create space in yourself. It is okay. So, almost as if I'm alone with no one to understand this uniqueness I've experienced. My question is, what was that? What was it that I experienced? You had an experience that just, maybe it's just that the beingness just needed to burp something out. You just need to release something. We don't have to go into too much, forensic about it. It just something happened, and then it's finished. And then now the mind wants to analyze, what was that? But it's finished. But the moment you start to think, oh my God, that was crazy, I better write to Mooji and ask him what that was and stuff, you see, then you're still attached to it. It is just a movement, you see. And it is okay. Trust also that if you're searching for the truth or some truth, that something beautiful is on your side. Something is watching over you, something is taking care of you, until you realize that it is you actually. So it seems my mind, in brackets, the thinker, is even more powerful now. Powerful against what? You see, it's only if powerful over your identity, maybe. Suppose you went to a boxing match, and when you arrived there was only one fighter in the ring. Where's the opponent? No opponent show up. Is everybody going to stay and watch the fight? Huh? Suppose you don't show up. You're supposed to be the boxer, you don't show up. You take your seat in the audience watching. Huh? It's a bit like that. If you show up, then there's going to be a fight, meaning that if you identify with the one who the mind, then of course something is going to happen. But you stay in the isness, in the field of the isness now. And I don't even know if you will even be interested to watch. So please, Mooji, explain and even help me to stay in truth and detached from the mind, Vinny. So it's everything, you can use everything. Beautiful and ugly things. The one as you're becoming more wise and returning to yourself, you will use everything. The bitter and the sweet. The beautiful and the ugly things. Everything you'll use to build your beauty. Everything you'll use to somehow strengthen your understanding. Everything. You see? I see one or two more. And you had enough, or we do a bit more? Okay. Namaste, beloved Mooji. During the last Zimar retreat, after 4 days of fighting with the mind, my personhood, gave up. A lot of crying happened in this giving up. During the following satsang, you took us through the invitation again. I was in such a state of giving everything up that I was sure it would work 100%. At the end of the invitation, I felt completely empty and very heavy energetically. If you are empty, how you can be heavy? If you're empty, formless, how you can be heavy? It's just a feeling, it's just a thought. The mind is trying to sell you something. You ever go to market and the man said, look, you have to buy something from my shop? You understand? You're passing the butcher shop, he says, I got to sell you some meat. You say, I'm a vegetarian. He says, no, I got to sell you something. So the mind is trying to get something, the negative psychological mode is trying to catch your attention, to bring you back into the state of personhood, you see. And then you said something like, have you ever been so light? You see, at the end of the invitation, I felt completely empty and very heavy energetically. Empty but heavy energetically. And then you said something like, have you ever felt so light? I thought I missed something. Or I did something wrong during the invitation. Like I should be feeling light. So I asked myself, what is perceiving? and turned my attention to the perceiver. There it was lighter, but the feeling of the energy of my body being heavy was still felt. It often happens that when I am in silence, I am actually perceiving the energy of my energy field. It seems that always I need to ask who is perceiving, even after the invitation. Is that okay? So you come to the isness. Who is perceiving the isness then? Only the isness can perceive the isness. Because if the mind is perceiving the isness, he starts to give a lot of opinions. My prayer is to have my ego being dissolved, so God is here. My prayer is to live in the natural way of being. You give me as an example. With love and so much gratitude, Francois from Belgium. If you feel this kind of heaviness, it's just a sensation. Don't go into it. The minute you go into it, it starts to become more heavy. It becomes very personal. The more personal you become, the more frustrated, the more anxious, depressed. How much more you want me to go? You know the road, what happened. Whatever you perceived, you perceive it inside the isness itself. And what is it? Just a cloud passing. You become personal, okay? And you put the cloud on like a hat, basically. And you're walking with your own dark cloud on your head. I think you know what I mean about it. My beloved Mooji, thank you for the wonderful retreat in Zimar. My heart is full of gratitude towards you and the Sangha. I feel so blessed to have participated. Thank you for helping me seeing and being more and more. Thank you for helping me to feel my heart again. During the retreat, a question arose, but the person was holding me back. Fear of exposing me in front of so many, yet knowing that it is my mind. For 5 years, and in brackets, when I was in a deep state of depression, every time there is a deep process going on inside, I started literally burping, and a lot of air is being released from the stomach. Sometimes it's even hard to breathe. When I arrived in Zimar, this started to happen again. It feels like my heart area is congested from some kind of energies which don't allow me to feel, and my heart is longing so much for the truth. About 2 weeks ago, I discovered that there is the belief that I can't feel my heart, or love, God, presence, positive feelings. Other feelings like grief and anger are easily perceived. Could you please shine some light on this and bless me, beloved Father, so that by your grace these energies may be released. Thank you, thank you, thank you, with lots of gratitude forever. Irene from Switzerland. This burping is good. It may not feel like the nicest etiquette for some people, but the burping significantly is good. It is a kind of release also. It can come. Sometimes as you are deepening in your spiritual consciousness, some signs that is coming, sometimes yawning. These are taking out stale energies. Sometimes sneezing or coughing. Sometimes laughing, there's no joke. Crying, but there's no sadness, no story. All these things, let them happen. Don't build any story around them. You follow? Don't think, oh yeah, I wonder what this means. Maybe it means like, that I should do some more walking or some more meditating. No, just forget about it. Sneeze, you sneeze. Cough, you cough. Burp, burp. But don't say, oh, this burping means again. No, just let it happen. You don't have to work it out. Let God work it out. About 2 weeks ago, I discovered that there's a belief that I can't feel my heart or love. It is a belief. I can't feel positive feelings. If you believe that, you start to feel like, it's true, I can't feel positive feelings. Other feelings like grief and anger, etc., they're easily perceived. But joy and love, oh no, my heart is closed, But anger, frustration, greed, envy, no, they're easily perceived. Let me try maybe just one more or two and we can close up for today. Dear Mooji, yesterday I have experienced the timeless. So what's today then? Yesterday I have experienced the timeless, the impersonal, the immortal, this indescribable and inexplicable self. My body was shaking and laughing, but in the same time nothing was happening. This is true. Now, one day after this experience, I feel I am not present fully as this. One day after the timeless. Now, is it possible after such an almost shocking experience? How is it possible after such an almost shocking experience? A kind of spacious indestructibility is still present, and I know and I feel it doesn't go nor didn't come from anywhere. Isn't it? This is who I am. This is who we are. I turn my attention to this and keep following your guidance. Thank you for the Zima retreat. Greetings to the Sahajans. I love you. I am so very much grateful to you. Tommy, Hungarian Sangha. How is it possible after such an almost shocking experience? A kind of spacious indestructibility is still present, and I know and I feel it doesn't go nor didn't come from anywhere. Now, are you going to let the sense that today, the morning after the timeless, it feels I am not present fully as this. It's just a feeling. It's just another cloud. Does another cloud makes you feel the sky doesn't really exist like it did yesterday? It's just a sensation. We give much too much attention to these things which are superficial and so transient. We're giving attention to them and they become a kind of complexity. Then you're thinking, oh, I'm confused. Oh, yesterday I was in timelessness. Today I'm back in time. It's nothing at all. It is still the timeless. And time is appearing in the timeless. You see? So, yes. Oh, I see this one now. Dearest Mooji, a few years ago, while in a relaxed state, you can remember that? How many years exactly? A few years ago, while in a relaxed state, I was overcome by a heavy presence that seemed to paralyze my entire body. The sense of my body disappeared, and with it the fear of what I was perceiving to be happening. The sense of my body disappeared, and with it the fear of what I was perceiving to be happening. What I then became aware of, because I was still there, was that I, the wholeness of me, which I had never experienced before, was beating like the heart beats in the physical body. I watched this and noticed that this expansive sense of myself was also in sync with another beating heart, this one much closer to my physical body. Now in meditation, including at times when I follow the invitation, I often arrive at the door to a relaxed state, but I am suddenly jolted back by a strong sensation in the body, usually in the abdomen, like I'm afraid to go any further. Isness, where are you? You're guided again into this, just this. Pay attention to this, and suddenly something, the mind starts to come. Oh, I'm being jerked into. But is it isness? Isness? What's happening, isness? What's happening, person? Oh, yeah, I was jerked back into this. I watched this and noticed that this experience, expansive sense of myself, was also in sync with another beating heart, this one much closer to my physical body. You want to tell you something about this? Forget about it. Forget about all these things. Nothing. I was meditating and I saw this purple light coming. It went over my head and went. What does it mean, Mooji? Nothing. The mind wants to come back and say, yeah, this thing, and then after that I was kind of like floating on this kind of cloud, and I was floating over Moscow. It's nothing. All these things the mind has to say, and after this, guess what? Nothing. There is just the isness. Yeah? Just the isness. Oh, of course you can go into this. You can write a book about the purple flame and riding on a cloud to Moscow and all that. And people will buy this book. Now in meditation, including at times when I follow the invitation, I often arrive at the door to a relaxed state, but I'm suddenly jolted back by a strong sensation in my body, in brackets usually in my abdomen, like I'm afraid to go any further. I have watched the experience of this contraction over and over, yet it occurs often. Why it occurs often? Because there's somebody there to see it. If you go to a cinema and nothing is showing, and if you sit down long enough, they put a movie on for you. Okay? Also in satsang this week, you have asked us whether the isness can be sensed. I answer no to this question, as that is my experience in satsang. Yet my experience that I have written about above was the opposite of this, of course. Thank you for everything and also making satsangs available to me when I am unable to travel physically to attend the retreat. Much love, Brett. I have to say this thing because if I don't, we are going to be talking about all these things from the mind and all these things, and something is interested in them. Something is interested. This thing took place, and then afterwards, it went up like this, maybe 1 meter 30, maybe 1 meter 30. I said, please, what is that? Forget about it. You just forget it. Is anything important? Yes, maybe something, maybe, especially when you don't give so much attention to these little clouds. You may find that something arises within, and it has a particular vibration, you're present with it, and it's making a clearing, something is understanding. But this type of thing, which is I'm reading them, I don't feel any vibration from them. That's why I answer like this. You see? Sometimes you speak, you might be sitting there telling me about, vegetables, and I feel a certain vibration. It's true. I can't say. Maybe you said everything and then you said spinach. I said, spinach? Did you say spinach? Yeah. And right now I'm having a vibe on the spinach. I don't know. Okay, I'm joking. But, if you speak about this, and then I'm so used to this kind of thing, and then this thing is pulling me back, and I said, my advice to you, don't go with this. It's not anything important. The more time you give these things, the longer you're drifting in the wilderness. Waiting to coming very close to the isness, and then suddenly you're gone off again, and it's not helpful for me. What can I say to you? Well, next time around, it's just not true. Something is competing for your attention. It wants to remind you that you're just a person. Just get on with your personal thing. What's this isness business? You see? And something inside must be a bit vulnerable, or interested a little bit, or entertaining some doubt, or some identity enough to distract your attention from the most amazing thing you're discovering. It is a question of where do you want to put your attention. For all our lives, we've been putting our attention on perishable things, momentary things. You want to keep spending your time like this? Okay, because if I say, okay, now it's 6:28. 6:28, yesterday, what was your experience? Exactly. You can't remember. Then why are you telling me about last year? Or 3 months ago? It's just something your mind is forming an idea, and if you're not careful, it's writing an impression in your consciousness, planting a seed that you don't forget, so that you cannot feel free of it. You keep on relating to this incident 6 months. It's nonsense. It really is nonsense. Is there something that may make sense? Yes, there is. But if you follow the guidance, your discernment will become so acute, so accurate, that you will stop wasting time with time-wasting things. You will just know, it's not worth. No, it's not that. Rather than walking all the way down the road to find that you're in the wrong place, you just don't bother with that. You will know much more quickly, intuitively, clearly, that no, don't give any time to that. Otherwise, almost every thought that comes will make some impression on your mind. Now, can you imagine what that would feel like? Have you ever seen somebody who is affected by every thought that comes in their mind? It's very restless. They cannot relax. Every thought, they're giving importance to it. What is important is that when something has a value, you'll recognize its value intuitively, you'll give attention to it. When it doesn't have a value, and how will you know? From your beingness, you'll know. You'll develop that acuteness of discernment to know that there's nothing here. Stay in the beingness. Can anything be greater than the beingness? Can it be greater than the isness? No, just stay with this. And something will continue to deepen, to mature even more and more in this isness field. I cannot describe more than that. Many of what I considered are perhaps the greatest books on our planet. Some of the Gitas, the Ashtavakra Gita, the Ripu Gita, these are books, they are not so much teachings, but they are the spontaneous utterances that are spoken by the sages who perceive the self. So they are delightful to read. They all have a kind of style, like they're repetitive. They keep repeating. Why repeating? you see? Because we picked up ignorance through repetition also. In the same way, we neutralize ignorance by repetition of what is true. The mind says, no, I'm bored, give me something new, I want some adventure, you see? But the one who is wise just hears the truth and feel it being reflected in different ways, but always the same thing, coming back. Just what brings you back here? Mind wants to go out shopping through the senses, gathering time and change. But the one who is wise stays in the heart. When I say stay in the heart, I don't mean that you're restricted. Because what I mean by staying in the heart means staying in your immensity. You may think going about is really being universal, but sometimes you go about just wasting your time. But when you recognize the isness of being, perhaps that's what it means, a human being, not human becoming. The beingness side is resting in the isness, in what is. And it is not it's not stagnating, it's not sterile, it is powerfully alive in the most beautiful way. It never fades, it never becomes just darkness. It's so, this is your own light and life. This is what it means to come to Mante Sahaja. That these things you're being reminded of, it's being pointed out in you. So you recognize, so that you are naturally happy. You're not looking for things to make you happy. You are happiness itself. Happiness is your perfume. Peace, your perfume. Joy, your perfume. You see? But the flower from which they come, no one can find. While we have the impression that we are just merely a person, flesh and blood and conditioning, we are prone to many influences. And we are distracted for much of our life, pursuing the wind. But as you are rediscovering your original nature, you see, then your restlessness is beginning to go away. Any forms of depression or anger or all these things, they're floating away like clouds. There comes a stillness about you. And people notice it. They may not know, the mind maybe try to understand, but some beings, they notice this and they are attracted naturally to this light. Others, they want to get away. Are you strong enough to bear your own light? Yeah. Would you rather to be liked by everybody but don't know who you are? Or to be who you are and not to be liked by anybody? Not so easy, huh? With so much of what the person is so much in need of appreciation and and all this, but the one who appreciates today maybe don't appreciate tomorrow. But the one who has found himself has found everything. You found everything. If you dare to trust it and follow it, the guidance you have received, and to stay with the thing that you have discovered. Inshallah, I'll be around for a little while for you to come and tell me, Guruji, you misdirected me because I'm just really all messed up. And I'll ask you, okay, show me where you've been. And we'll find out together. But I doubt it. I think you're more going to be saying, thank you that I followed this thing. Because something wants me to go somewhere else. But I trusted this and I followed a little bit. Because I did not say to you, follow this for the next 6 months. I say, follow it today, and you'll find it today. Many of you came here for first time. I see many faces I'm seeing for the first time. Maybe you've never been to satsang before. But perhaps you are amongst those who saw today the thing that many thousands of people are searching for and not found. Maybe you came just to keep company with a friend, but maybe it might be you who find it. Who knows? This is mystery. Hmm? Does this go there or here? Yeah, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And may I make this blessing that whoever who feels what you have seen and felt today inside your heart is true, and feel more to stay with this and to go with this. May you come to the full realization of the timeless self and be happy. And may it blossom so profoundly in you that your light brings life and light into the world. And may those who meet you on the way of life be so profoundly touched by your presence and your light, by your joy and peace and openness, by your freedom, that they feel compelled to search within their own self to find the light that they see in you and find happiness also. Like I've said before, may truth become contagious again so that people wake up to their own life and light, rather than to go in the way of suffering and pain and giving pain to others, that we may begin to celebrate the beauty of life and the beauty of the pure heart. Is this only a fantasy? No, you be the proof that such thing exists. May you become the proof that this is real, not merely just talk. May this power be evident in you as much as you choose to honor it. May its light shine in you, wherever you are, wherever you are. Even those looking in from wherever you are. And the truth is unbound. Hallelujah. Grace be with all. Grace shower on everyone. Each, So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I think all of us, most of us, at least, have spent enough time in trouble. You know what I mean. You don't have to go to jail because of your trouble, but just the troublesomeness of the egoic mind, the deceitfulness of it, the cunningness of it. And you don't have to go and seek more and more knowledge, more and more knowledge. It's enough that you discover something and stay with it. Don't let your mind be very restless and bored. Oh, I want a new sensation now. I want something new now. However new, whatever you can find new, it cannot compare or compete with the freshness of the isness. whatever you find new, it cannot compare or compete with the freshness of the isness, which is our own timeless being. I have not invited you here to merely create nostalgic experiences, but to reveal your Buddha nature, your Christ light, or Krishna consciousness, Shiva being, whichever way you want to call it. You see? So, it is a kind of beginning, and yet the isness is beginningless. What paradox. But somewhere within you, this knowledge is known. This knowingness exists. So stay with it. Stay with it. It's not about doing, or undoing, but stay with it and be guided by it, in as much as you feel a certain autonomy or separateness from it. Be with it until this duality in you merges in this singularity of being. God bless you. Can we have now the last music for tonight, and we can jump. Let what? You want to give me a present? A sweetie? Sweeties? Huh? Okay, come then. Going into surgery just now, and they just reminded. So my heart is totally with you, Ben, and Father's grace with you. That's very nice. You made this?
No, it's not mine. That is from my ex-husband.
Your ex-husband?
Yes.
Is this the heart of your ex-husband?
This painting resonates very much with my heart. And it carries many crackles and wounds, and I found out that without these crackles and wounds, the light couldn't come out of my heart.
So she's saying that without the crackles and the wounds, she says the wounds and the cracks were important to release the light from our own heart. It is true, no? Yeah.
And I want to present this painting to you because you have a great heart without borders, and I want to put my heart to your feet as only light remains.
Thank you. Wonderful. It's beautifully painted. He painted it?
Yes.
He painted it, okay. Very nice. It looks like the world, no? A little bit.
Yes, yes.
Very nice. Thank you. Okay, we'll find a beautiful place to put it. Okay? Very nice. Thank you. Wonderful. Ah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Is there a present time? I live in a very small hut. And okay. Yeah, well, it looks like we didn't have an official present time, but oh yeah, come, you first come, because I think we have to build another hut for the presents. I'm actually saying there's no need to bring me presents. You are enough. You see? Thank you. Hello. Hi. I'm fine.
I didn't make this myself.
No, that's fine.
Coming from and get it from back home.
What is this?
It's crystal pyramid.
Look at that. Can I see this one? Wow. I can see you here. In there, you know? It's very, wow. I wonder how they make these things. There's a pyramid inside the pyramid.
With laser.
Laser. They make it with laser. Okay.
Agree. Since I'm here, can I ask you a question?
Now? What is it?
Okay. First of all, I just want to thank you so much for all the work you've been doing to the entire universe, and I'm just one of them, of the millions who are benefiting from your work. I think I speak for everyone who has been experiencing awakening and living in isness, that sometimes we swing back to the mind, and I just have an urging question that has been running in my mind
Yes.
over the past couple of years. Mm-hmm. Why is it that isness or higher self choose to incarnate or manifest itself into the physical or the formed world like this, and to unlearn all what it knows?
And to what?
To unlearn all the consciousness and then go back to learn it again. What's the point?
Okay. Well, I feel that the question seems to be put almost as though it's not been experienced beautifully, but one could say that so perfect it is not even aware of even concept of perfectness or imperfectness, you know, and somehow to have the taste of knowingness and experience, you know, that it has to diversify itself, so to speak. It has to create a sense of separation. It cannot actually separate. It can only dream separation. That's one way it can be explained like that, you know. In order to have this sense of a journey as individuality and separation and thisness and thatness and I and you or I and other, all of these experiences could be tasted, and yet none of them can compare with the singularity of the being. But it wanted to experience that, and in order to experience, there must be duality. You cannot have experience without duality. In order to taste the sense of separation and the sense of union again, maybe the yoga of existence, to have the sense of separateness and the sense of oneness again. That's one explanation. If you're not satisfied by that, there are others that can be offered also. But
fair enough for now.
yes. because it doesn't actually suffer. It dreams of suffering, actually. And in much the same way is sometimes much of the trouble that we experience, we actually sometimes also contribute to our own suffering too, through misunderstanding, and misunderstanding due to sometimes not just ignorance, because all the beings must taste ignorance for a bit, but when ignorance is combined with pride or arrogance, then suffering increases in the life, you know? So arrogance is a very particular form of ignorance. It's said that, in ancient scriptures, no? That Shaitan or Satan, the chief, he was a very high heavenly being, but was somehow casted out of the heights of the heavens because of arrogance. And it continues that the sense of arrogance, of thinking oneself to be more important or aloof or better than or something, or to be competitive or jealous of other expressions of the truth, deepens the sense of separation and creates great pain inside ourselves and to those who associate with us. So we have to taste all of this, the bitter and the sweet. And I feel that, as someone also say, because of experiencing sometimes intense and unpleasant and things that you would not willingly choose to experience, they are brought to you, and because of them, they enrich your life and deepen your wisdom if you meet them in the right way. But if you meet them with arrogance, it takes a long time to really see the value in things, because you are too biased towards your own self. So
that's why you keep reincarnating over and over to learn.
Yeah, to continue to taste the different things that you need to find out in order to find your wholeness again. Because until we discover the truth of ourselves, we remain in a kind of fragmented state, meaning that we're always split, divided, and not functioning as a whole, but more as, particles of wholeness. As you begin to recover the sanity of wholeness in yourself, you begin to appreciate the play of life. You see that it is really only from the wisdom of God could come such a tremendous experience, the experience of life. And then you appreciate it, you start to give thanks for it. You say, thank you for this experience, what an amazing game you have created. Oh my God. But this you is not separate, it's something you become of the kingdom of God.
Thank you so much. That's a very satisfying answer for me.
Thank you. Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you.
I did not think it was going to be a present now. But thank you. Should I hold this one?
As you like, yeah. I think it's good.
I wasn't sure whether I was going to give this to you, although I came up from Budapest. I'm Hungarian. I came from Budapest, and I've known about you for a number of years. The story, there is a story, even though that there is no story, but there is a story. Everything is true at the same time. 20 years ago, I could not walk and talk for a year and a half because I had Lyme disease. And it was what I mean. I could not walk and talk. Yeah. And I believed the doctor's story,
Yes.
that you should do this, you should do that, and you think that you're sick. And then you realize that, in fact, I have not seen, I only saw this slice of the cake.
Yes.
And actually being silent is actually all is fine. And doctor's story, taking antibiotics or whatever, and then eventually, a year and a half is a long time, all of a sudden I realized that this is just a bloody story. this is just a bloody story. And moment by moment, there is absolutely nothing wrong with what is. And it was just a wonderful moment that all of a sudden, I started stepping and I started observing. And I went inside and checked out all the medicine, everything, and I said that as long as my mind is not running ahead and back and whatever, it's all fine actually. I am breathing. In the end, I'm breathing. And then I thought this will be the guide. And that was 20 years ago. And since then, and I had no idea that there was a whole tradition at that time. And years later, somebody sort of sent your name or whatever, and I listened to it, and I was like, you need the pointers to make sense sometimes of your experience, and you're such a wonderful presence, because since then I started sort of working with children. I'm a teacher and I train teachers. And I wrote a book and illustrated it. I had no idea that I can draw, and I had no idea that I can compose music and whatever. And it just came out. It's about a butterfly, alta, and I had no idea alta means high flying in Portuguese and Spanish. And now I'm translating it into English, or transliterating it. It's called Alta Helps Find the Magic Lake in All of Us. Because this butterfly wants to save a lake. And the butterfly thinks that, butterflies usually think that you can fly over lakes. And then the fairy comes and says, there is this, if you're afraid like that, you won't be able to do any flying whatsoever. But just go home and stay with the stone and look at the moon. And it made no sense to the butterfly, fortunately. So she did what she was told. And then she did look up at the moon. Fortunately, it was cloudy, like the thoughts can cloud the mind or whatever, the spaciousness. I was looking and taking some deep breaths and whatever. And all of a sudden, she realizes that for moments, she hasn't thought of the sharks that could eat the butterflies, and she started to realize that she's fine. And then next day she can sort of fly around. Anyway, the reason why I told you the story is because about 8 years ago, when I first heard your satsang, I thought, I don't know how many years ago, I thought, I'd love to go and see. But by that time, you're beginning to realize that you actually don't need to meet and whatever. And what was really beautiful, last year I was here in May. I'm connecting international schools. I love doing what I'm doing. I love writing and singing and whatever. And on the way back home, I'm saying to Budapest, although I feel that I'm home almost just like here in Portugal, definitely. There comes a guy who sits down next to me and says, and I was in some kind of retreat with Mooji. I said, Mooji? Is he in Portugal? Yes. And I visited Tamera before, because I have a couple of friends who live there. And I looked at the map at home, and I said that this is ridiculous. Anyway, this week I wasn't going to have any time. I didn't know that you had a satsang. I opened the org, mooji.org or whatever, and appeared that you have a satsang, so I thought, I'm going to come. And I had no idea that I did bring the present for you, but I thought that there was going to be some time when I can sort of grab you or whatever. And then 2 people appeared here with presents, and I thought, I might as well come up and say, thank you for pointing to, with words that doesn't even, I think, what people, I don't know how to put it. We're just clouding it, it's so obvious, and you put it so beautifully. I mean, your laughter that you create with this is just, your energy is fantastic. And it can be just like noticed. But it's almost like, sometimes I feel that people need to be granted the right kind of difficulty so that they can notice how on earth they're clouding that spaciousness with their thoughts and getting entangled. And without your words, I would have never been able to make sense of my experiences. And God bless you, and God, whatever blesses you, you have blessed so many people. And words are something, I'm trying to draw with it, and I'm trying to sing with it, even though I never sang, but I can actually sing, and I can sing really well with children. And there's a couple of lines I'm going to sing. I love this kind is never ended. You receive it when you send it. And I think you're sending such an incredible love out to the world. It's not only through your words, it's through your laughter. And thank you, because I really would have not been able to make sense with what I was going through. And This is the Hungarian book, which you will not understand, but you don't need to, you will actually understand the pictures.
Okay.
But this is the English one because it will be translated into English, and this is from that. And you have an English CD now, 7 songs in English. And if there are any children, there are some stickers that are made for you. And you are a rock star in helping people to understand that it is so bloody easy and not complicated. And I don't know what the big fuss is about. That's why I'm trying to work with children, because they're still aware.
Thank you.
But they forget, because parents make them forget. Thank you.
Thank you.
One more gift.
So this is the present from... Hello.
Hello. It's fine.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you, love you, love you.
Love you, love you.
This is the present from the Paris Sangha.
Paris Sangha?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
And I would love to have Sonia, because she's the head of the Sangha and she did so much miracle. And we
Where is
want
Sonia?
to...
Which one?
She's shy, she's hiding somewhere. So this is the...
Thank you. What is this now? Wow.
We know that you like books with beautiful paintings.
Oh, with paintings? Yeah.
So
Okay,
it's
it looks like it. Yeah. It's a picture of Krishna on the front.
And this notebook is full of love letters, so you can read it later, not now.
Okay. Thank you. That's nice.
And this you will see.
Chocolates?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very nice. Thank you. Come.
Everybody asked me to hug you, so...
Yes? Okay. Come. Thank you, my love. Love you. Thank you. Very great. Okay. Yes, she's...
Thank you. I'm going to take a little risk here because the people coming forward are obviously so lovely and full of love and devotion for you. And I saw a few more people getting up, like to come up now. And just to say that our time with you is so precious, and people from all over the world are joining for the satsang. We probably have to find some other way for people to have this expression, because obviously there's a need for it, but just in case people are watching and thinking that they also want to come or will come next week in this way, just to bring the focus back. It's the last Sunday satsang next week also. This time is so auspicious and precious with you, our beloved Master. So I just thought to say that with all due respect and love. The love is so obvious, and so it is taking a risk to say, but thank you for allowing
Thank you
me.
so much. I wanted to just to say what Shri just said, that this is the next Sunday, will final satsang for now. And it is good, because I feel that what has been shared sometimes, if we keep on just speaking, then the mind just stop listening to it. It's a time when those of you who have come into the invitation can really begin to bring it deeply within your heart and marinate in it. You know, as I said, for thousands of years, human beings have been coming together in groups like this to discuss this very subject and to see if it is really possible to go beyond the limited field of the mind into the ocean of beingness. And so many thousands found over so many years, thousands of years, in fact. But they have all gone. They left their bodies here and they have gone back to the source. And now it is our turn. We are the living wave of the human experience. This is our time. Maybe waves will come after us also. But this is our time. We came as contemporaries together on this planet. I don't know if you feel something for what I'm speaking. But we are here now. This is our time, our chance. Whatever age we are, it's our time. We're current. At this moment, there's no future. There's only now. And we are the now. And it's a time I feel so happy that we can spend our time like this to speak about the things that really matter at an existential level, about who we are in this magnificent universe that is unbound. Even in its physical manifestation, you cannot come to the end of it, much less the source from which it comes. It is truly magnificent. And in this door that is open to you now, you can continue just, in one way, surfing on the waves of infinity, but at the same time, being the very infinite itself. This is the enormity of what we are on the verge of discovering. I don't take it lightly. Yes, I have fun, well, we talk about it, but always at the heart of it is this, to bear witness to the glory of God as the seed of truth sprouts in each being again, and to be reminded of our original nature. Because I don't feel the world needs, more, sort of like inventions, more airplanes, more wars, more money, more of everything. I think it needs to see the evidence of truth as it manifests in the form we call a human being. And right now, the call is for you. The call has come for you. I am not presenting this in some elite way that you particularly are so amazing. No, for you who are alive in the hearing of this, wherever this may spread, because all of this planet is my family. And I don't want to see, us abusing our brothers and sisters. We are one. And this oneness is such a great beauty. We have much more to gain from each other in our oneness than from our differences. The differences are there, but they are more superficial. But you're on the verge of the greatest discovery. A discovery that will not leave you. That is the importance I place upon it. You see? So don't let the mind hide your light by simply offering you the limited role of personhood only. We are living life too personally. And our universal greatness, we even, some of us don't even believe such a thing exists. Blessed is the one whose life is the evidence of the truth. And may that be you. If there's a legacy, it's not too late to also live fully and to leave a legacy that at least brings light into the world. Whatever you discover, your families will discover, your children will discover, your parents will discover, your friends will discover, your people who don't know you will discover. Let us not waste our life on perishable things only. They have their place, we can have fun. A part of this life is fun also. Don't take yourself too seriously. But know what to take seriously. and live it to the full. Embrace it with the fullness. Yeah. So this is the love that is satsang. This is the love that's the light that shines from all the awakened beings who are, I have to say that they're here. And may wherever you go, your life begin to really recognize the things I'm saying today more deeply for you. And that you know you're never forgotten, you're never isolated in the way that your mind would like to make you think. You're already, a part of this enormous manifestation. You're not here by accident. Every role contributes to the whole. Don't go to sleep when your chance is so alive. Thank you.
I would like to play a prayer.
Yeah.
It's a prayer inspired by the Christ Chapel to honor and to love this Christ light that we are. So I'm leaving tomorrow, but I don't have the feeling that I'm leaving. I have Sahaja in my heart. And thank you for giving me the privilege to come here each time I come.
Very nice.
And yes, I would like to dedicate to all the Sangha here in Sahaja and all the Sangha around the world this prayer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.